It all started with a voice on the airport speakers, calm, routine, almost lost in the noise of rolling suitcases and rushing footsteps. But beneath that ordinary morning hum, something extraordinary was about to happen. And by the end of this story, you'll realize that sometimes heroes don't wear suits or badges. Sometimes, they carry a mop. So, before we begin, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and stay till the end, because what happens next will remind you that kindness can change a life forever. The airport was busy that morning, one of those days when every flight seemed delayed, every passenger frustrated, and every announcement swallowed by chaos. But in the middle of that storm stood a young girl, about 16, her white cane trembling in her small hand. Her name was Lila, the only daughter of billionaire businessman Richard Callaway, a man so powerful, people whispered his name with a mix of awe and fear. But power couldn't help him that day. Because his daughter, blind since birth, was lost in the largest airport in the country. Lila had wandered off by accident. Her father's assistant had gone to check on the boarding gate, and for a moment, just one, she was alone. She tried to follow the sound of the announcements, but soon realized they were echoing from every direction. Panic began to rise. People brushed past her, luggage wheels zipped inches from her feet, and the smell of jet fuel and coffee made it impossible to tell where she was. "Excuse me, can someone help me?" she whispered, but her soft voice was swallowed by the noise. She took a hesitant step forward, then another. Her hand brushed against a trash bin, and she froze, unsure where to go. Her breathing quickened. Across the hall, a janitor named Eddie Harper was mopping near the restrooms. He was in his 50s, with worn shoes, tired eyes, and a quiet sadness about him, the kind that came from years of being overlooked. He'd worked at the airport for nearly 20 years, cleaning up after people who never noticed him. But today, something made him look up. He saw her, a young girl standing still amid a sea of movement, her head turning in confusion. He noticed the white cane, the trembling hand. Without thinking, he dropped his mop and walked toward her. "Hey there," he said gently, his voice calm and low so she wouldn't be startled. "You look a little lost. Can I help you?" Her lips trembled. I can't find my father. We were supposed to board. I think I went the wrong way." Eddie smiled softly. "No worries, sweetheart. We'll fix that. My name's Eddie. Can I walk with you?" She nodded, relief washing over her face. As they moved through the airport together, Eddie described everything around them. The echo of footsteps, the smell of cinnamon rolls from the cafe, the laughter of a family nearby. He painted the world she couldn't see with his words, and for the first time in a long while, Lila felt safe. "What do you see right now?" she asked him quietly. He paused. "I see a brave young girl who didn't give up, even when she was scared." That made her smile. But just as they were nearing the security office, Eddie's old phone buzzed, a message from the airport supervisor, angry about the mop left unattended. He hesitated. If he went back now, he could keep his job. If he didn't, he might lose it. Lila must have sensed his silence. "You can go if you need to," she said softly. "I'll wait." Eddie shook his head. "No, miss. Not while you still need help." And that's when everything changed. A sudden announcement echoed through the terminal, "Attention. A missing child alert. 16-year-old Lila Callaway," followed by her description. Dozens of people turned, whispering. Eddie could feel the shift in the air. Security teams began moving fast. Within minutes, the terminal was buzzing with calls and radios. When Lila's name reached the VIP lounge, Richard Callaway jumped from his chair, his face pale. "My daughter," he shouted. "Where is she?" He ran toward the security checkpoint, his guards struggling to keep up. And there, by the fountain, he saw her. Standing next to a janitor in a faded blue uniform, her hand resting lightly on his arm, smiling through tears. "Dad," she cried, and before anyone could react, she ran to him, nearly tripping over her cane. Richard caught her and pulled her close, shaking with emotion. Cameras flashed, people clapped, and in the chaos, Eddie quietly stepped back. He was about to slip away when Richard's voice thundered, "Wait, who found her?" Someone pointed. "The janitor, sir." Eddie froze. The billionaire turned, his eyes meeting the older man's. You found my daughter." Eddie nodded humbly. "Just did what anyone would do, sir." But Richard shook his head. "No, not everyone would. Not like that. He walked up, extended his hand, and in front of everyone, the cameras, the crowd, the security, he said, "Sir, you did the impossible. You gave me back my world." Eddie tried to brush it off, but the billionaire wouldn't have it. A few weeks later, Richard personally visited the maintenance office. He found Eddie mopping a corridor as usual. "I came to return a favor," Richard said, placing an envelope on the floor beside the mop bucket. Eddie looked confused. Inside was a check, more zeros than he'd ever seen, and a card. From one father to another, it read, "Thank you for seeing my daughter when no one else did." But Eddie didn't cash it. Instead, he asked for something else, a chance to fund a program that would help the visually impaired travel safely through airports. Richard agreed instantly. Within months, Lila's Way launched, a new navigation system using sound cues and floor sensors to guide the blind safely through terminals. And every time someone uses it, they pass a small plaque near the entrance. Dedicated to Eddie Harper, the man who saw with his heart. Years later, when Lila graduated college, she invited Eddie as her guest of honor. She found him sitting quietly in the back row, his janitor badge still pinned proudly to his chest. When she took the stage, she said, "The world may think heroes wear medals or money. But my hero carried a mop." The crowd erupted in applause. Eddie smiled through tears, humbled, as her words echoed in his heart, proof that one act of kindness can echo forever. So if you're watching this right now, remember, it costs nothing to care, but it can mean everything to someone lost in the dark. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it, because someone out there needs to believe in kindness again.